Thank you all for being here today with me to celebrate the release of Swan songs. Oh gosh. Books do not exist without a community. I'd like to thank my publisher, Katerina Stoikova. Can we give Katerina a big round of applause, please? Accents Publishing is a family I joined in 2019 with the publication of Painted Daydreams. It is an honor to have a second book with Accents Publishing. Thank you to Ellen Burkett Morris, who's here in the house. Let's give Ellen a big round of applause. And to Richard Lawrence Taylor, who supported this book with advance praise. Thank you to my friend Nicole McClanahan. She is responsible for the beautiful invitation that you received, as well as the banner on my website. She has a brilliant eye that I value. And thank you to my little brother Jim Beck, webmaster extraordinaire. I know I'm a pain in the ass with all things website, but you are so patient and kind to help me. So thank you to my little brother. Is he even here? Oh, there he is. Thank you, Jim Beck. Yeah. I'd like to acknowledge Hunter Nelson and Jessica Taylor, who are carrying the torch of the Teen Howell legacy as it should be. Teen Howell has moved into their third year at 3rd Street stuff, and it's for the children. Finally, my sincere gratitude to my family. Jeff and Laura, you are the best in-laws a girl could ever ask for. And to my niece, Nikki, thank you for being here and helping me with everything. And of course, thank you to Kevin and to Carter. Kevin, you were the first person to call me a writer before I ever became a writer. And Carter, you are the best art I've ever made. And of course, I appreciate being here at Kenwick Table, the home of my monthly poetry series, Poetry at the Table. Rhett and his staff have been gracious hosts for the past 2 years, and I look forward to continuing our relationship into 2026 as I book features already, and I want to keep meeting here every month for the inspiration it provides. Poetry at the Table poets who are here with me today, thank you. You are my family. Can we give a round of applause to my poets? Thank you, Red. Swan Songs is my debut collection of short stories. It's a baker's dozen. Of course it's a baker's dozen. Everyone knows my love of cooking. It's about stories about women and their relationships to music and to each other. A granddaughter and her grandmother, a woman and her neighbor, married couples. Each story is contained within a framing structure of a particular band artist, including Tina Turner, Dolly Parton, the Rolling Stones, not just my beloved Grateful Dead and Fish, although they are included as well. This is also a political book, in the fact that it is a feminist book. Cosmic Charlie was written the day after Roe v. Wade was overturned, June 24, 2022. That story is probably the most autobiographical of the collection, written in first person, based upon my experience waking to the news, then going to see Born Cross-Eyed at the Burl, where we women dance to Men Smart, Women Smarter. I can't stop crying. I don't even want to open my phone to read the news. I could barely sleep. I was up and down all night. I know, my husband says. We sit in silence, punctuated only by our dogs panting, bird song, and buzz of cicadas. Summer sounds that should be soothing, but cannot penetrate my despair. I bite back panic and then question myself. Am I right to be alarmed, or am I overreacting? Hell no. The Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade is terrifying. I am a human in a woman's body who cannot exercise her freedom of choice, no matter if I'm 54 years old, past menopause and unable to have children anymore. I am a woman whose country stripped her civil rights. And what does that woman in the story do in response? She takes to her garden. In my nightgown, I walk outside to the yard. I'm not the only suburban mother who gardens in her nightclothes. It's a thing. My body is already slick with sweat when my husband returns from walking the dogs. When he runs errands, I transplant a hydrangea, remove weeds, and carefully unearth roots. Hunched over flower beds under the sweltering sun, just like on the stage right now, I don't stop to help unload the car when he returns. Can you grab my water for me in the corner? Serves him right, I irrationally think. I've been mentally arguing with every single man on the planet. Every weed I pull, I picture an injustice. Pruning hedges, I bitterly conjure embarrassing moments because it's not enough to be angry with the Supreme Court. As a woman, I shame spiral in the process, overanalyzing every mistake I've made. I swear I didn't rehearse this. I pause to drink water. Here's my water. I couldn't even see it in front of me. I was so nervous. Sorry. Okay. I pause to drink water, letting it run down my face and neck like a toddler, gasping between gulps. I leave the bag of trimmings behind, take caution winding the orange extension cord the way my husband prefers, and place the electric hedge trimmer on top. Before I abandon the garden, I stop to bow over scarlet begonias, willing the Grateful Dead lyrics to soothe my soul. And this, before the new election has caused even more upheaval in our country. I also reference the 1965 Supreme Court decision, Griswold versus Connecticut, which protected the liberty of married couples to use contraceptives without government restrictions. This story, called Take 5 for Dave Brubeck, is framed by jazz, as I'm something of a jazz aficionado. The story is about a 74-year-old widow who claims, children close your ears, for the record, nobody is too old for an orgasm. Shocking stuff, even in today's society. Domestic violence, death, despair are also issues I cover in these stories, but I like to think my sense of humor rings through, lifting the stories from the dark and twisty. I learned so much in researching for these stories. I did a deep dive into Dolly Parton, learning so much from her, she has become one of my heroes. I also learned about Tina Turner's Buddhist practices, something I didn't know before. And in editing, rereading these stories for publication, I was reminded of the aftermath of the global pandemic and quarantine that we all experienced. My character goes into a department store, and it's the odors that assault her senses. Perfume, shampoo, cologne, sweat, masked by deodorant. Human smells I hadn't encountered in almost 2 years overwhelmed me, causing me to abandon the perfect slingbacks, grab my Neverfull, and hustle out of the store back to the safety of my Mercedes. I queued up River Deep Mountain High to drive home because back then, I was still committed to being as loyal as our family dog. Was Tina singing this song to convince herself to stay with Ike? I know that's what was in my heart as I sang at the top of my lungs, mumbling the lyrics I'd yet to memorize. I remembered the song from my childhood. It wasn't unfamiliar, but I never knew the spirit of Tina could save my life. Music is a tool I use to overcome trauma in my own life. So I hope these stories ring with authenticity and brutal honesty about women's lives. I tried to flesh out women of different ages, ranging from a college student in the Corps to older women and everyone in between. Maternity plays a huge role in the dynamic of women friendships, the complexities, jealousies, and camaraderie we find with each other as well. Finally, 3 of these stories are speculative in nature, which was so much fun to write. The Rolling Stones story, Mother's Little Helper, is a story I've considered for years. My dream life is so rich, I wonder about a story where the character can't discern between her real life and her dream life. So I wrote it. Stardust is the second speculative story based upon my friend Denise Acello's family. Her mother is a hero to me, having raised 8 children. Can you imagine having 8 children? Amazing. Finally, About to Run was based upon my actual experience flying to Phoenix, Arizona to see the Trey Anastasio Band. But it was picked up by Wicked Shadow Press in their edition of Dead Girl Walking, the red volume, and that kind of cracks me up. I can't even watch scary commercials, let alone horror films, so I think that's a little ironic. The journey of these stories empowered me as a woman writer and as a feminist. The epigraph of the collection is a line from Robert Hunter, the lyricist for the Grateful Dead, that reads, "All I know is something like a bird within her sang." But I'm going to leave you with this fish quote. This is your song too. Thank you. Book signing, and thank you all for being here. And thanks for